take because we're live.
All right.
So, hey guys, how's it going? As you know, Ryan Potter, Berkshire Hathaway, Ambassador Real Estate, and I'm here with Stacey O'Hare, and she is going to introduce herself a little bit here in a second. But if you've heard me talking about this before, now we're going live with some questions. Yes, it is real. You can raise money for the down payment of your home. We're going to get into those details here in a second. So, with that, Stacey, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and who you work for, and then maybe this Home Fund Me.
Great, thanks, Ryan. My name is Stacey O'Hare. As he mentioned, I'm with CMG Financial. That is a newer company to the Midwest, started on the coast of California, and our presence is exploding right now. The owner of our company is Chris George, and he is currently the vice chairman of the Mortgage Bankers Association, soon to be chairman. So what he has a lot of really great ideas with some pull, I guess, with Fannie and Freddie to get some of these ideas out to the general public. The first one being, or I should say the most recent one being Home Fund Me, which is a crowdfunding platform to raise your down payment for your home. And again, this is with the approval of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac.
Okay, so who can do it then? Like, who can sign up for this? Who's maybe the geared audience for it that you've seen so far? And then obviously we know that there's a lot of speculation out there as far as, wait a second, like you can do a GoFundMe page, but for your home, and now raise money for the down payment of your house. How does that work?
That's right. To answer your first question, anyone can do Home Fund Me.
Okay.
And it is a crowdfunding platform. It's as easy as calling me and setting up an account, and anyone can contribute to that account with really no questions asked, up to a $7,500 per person gift. At that point, we do require some simple documentation, but prior to that $7,500 individual gift, there's really not a lot of questions asked, which the nice thing about that is, in the past, gifts for a home have to be fairly documented, has to come from a close family member. But with this program, anyone can contribute. You can have 10 people that contribute up to $7,500 with no questions asked. So it's really a great program. Anyone can do it, but to take it a step further, if you meet certain income guidelines, then CMG, my company, will kick in 1% of the purchase contract, or the price of the home, up to $2,500.
Wow. So not only can you raise money, this all sounds too good to be true. Not only can you raise money, but you can get a kickback from the lender that you go with to go towards that based off a certain criteria. And I think as we were talking too, you've had realtors and other people involved in the transaction too that can potentially kick in money as well. Is that true?
Correct. Kickback is kind of a naughty word in the mortgage industry, but I don't think that's what he meant.
Yeah.
But yes, the really nice thing about it is we, as a financial institution, are able to contribute. I should back up and say, though, we will match $2 for every $1 that is generated from the fundraising for the home, up to $2,500. So you just need to give me a call to see if you would qualify for that piece of it. But generally speaking, in the Omaha market, every address is different to see if you would qualify for this match, so to speak. But for the most part, if your loan is qualified based on an income of under $75,000, in some cases, you will get this additional benefit of us contributing the money. However, if you don't qualify for the extra money that we can throw into that down payment assistance, that doesn't mean that you aren't a person that can do Home Fund Me. I've had people do it for their weddings as a wedding registry option.
I like that idea.
So, instead of going to Bed Bath & Beyond and registering, you can have a Home Fund Me wedding registry. Maybe a college graduation home registry.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of ways that can use it, even without getting that extra contribution from the lender.
Did you guys hear that? If you're getting married, so if you're engaged right now and you're getting married, and maybe you're thinking to yourself, there's no way that we would have enough money to put down for a down payment. We've got things to pay off or whatever the case is. This might be an idea for you where you could say, hey, instead of registering at Target or Bed Bath & Beyond or any of that stuff, we could set up a Home Fund Me campaign, and now you could have everybody, and I'm going to get into some more details here because I like what I hear when I think about that. If this would have been around for me when I was getting married, no brainer. I would have been doing this. But what's great about it is maybe you can speak a little bit too into when people donate and raise this money for you, they can actually do, what's the word I'm looking for? They can basically say that money is going to go towards the down payment of this house, or they can just have the money, correct? So there's two different ways of labeling, I guess, the gift money, right?
Correct. If you choose to have this as a wedding registry option, or regardless of how you want to use Home Fund Me, each individual donor can decide whether or not that money has to be used for the home, or if the individual buyer can keep it regardless after that 1 year. So if I'm giving a gift to a potential bride and groom, and let's say their plans change for whatever reason, I can elect to say that they can keep that money that's in that pool from Home Fund Me. Or on the other side of the coin,
Yep.
I can say if this isn't used for the home that we thought it was going to be used for, that money can come back to me.
That's pretty awesome. I don't know. I think that's pretty cool. So I guess the next question would be then, how do I get started? Where do I start this process? What do I do? How do I get into that?
The first step is to call me and get pre-approved, because obviously a person doesn't want to start generating money if a person's not pre-approved for a loan. And if you aren't quite there yet to the point where you can qualify for a loan, my job is to get you there. So if you are in the beginning stages of purchasing a home, call me, let's get you pre-qualified. If you're not quite there yet, we'll work on getting you pre-qualified. And then we will start this Home Fund Me account. Couple things I want to mention about it too. There are no fees associated with this Home Fund Me account that will go towards the buyer. CMG covers all the fees associated with Home Fund Me. And the other thing is we do have a fundraising coach. So I have someone as part of my team that will help you write your campaign, get it set up if it's a wedding registry, for instance, for your guests to know where to contribute. The fundraising coach will also get it on all your social media sites for you, so that during that year of trying to generate money, this fundraising coach will help you get the word out to all the potential donors to your account. But to answer your question, first of all, get pre-approved through me, and then we'll sign up, we'll start your Home Fund Me account and let the money raising begin.
So I basically contact Ryan or contact you.
Correct.
To get going. We get pre-approved.
Correct.
And then you set us up with a coach to help us fundraise that money and set our... So how do you... Because you mentioned you set a goal, right? That
Correct.
They potentially try to raise. So who decides what that goal is? Do they get to decide that goal? And then what happens if they reach that goal? And then what happens if they don't reach that goal? Like, can you raise more money, or what happens when they don't get there?
The potential is limitless, so even if you set a goal, say, the minimum down payment, let's just say, I should also mention this is only for conventional financing. It cannot be used for FHA or VA or any government loan. But let's just say that you qualify for a Home Ready or Home Possible first-time home buyer conventional loan, which only requires 3% down, and that's another whole show.
Yeah.
Let's just say you only need to come up with that 3% down. You may want to start with that goal, or you may want to try and get up to 20% down. But whatever the money is that you fundraise, you can keep going up until about just a couple weeks before closing. Eventually we need to shut it off to make sure we can get it to the underwriter and make sure that we get all the final underwriting guidelines met. But let's say you generate more than you need for your down payment, which is a great problem to have. You can use just what you want to use for that down payment, and like Ryan mentioned earlier, the rest of that money can come back to you as long as a donor said that could be the case.
So we might have to break this down a little bit.
Yeah,
because
that's a lot of info.
I think some people they hear escrow and a lot of different things come to mind, or some people have no clue what escrow means, and it's a term I think we use a lot, and then lenders use a lot, and sometimes I think first-time home buyers and people that haven't bought a house before, they hear that word and they're like, I have no idea what they're talking about. So in this case, escrow, when we refer it to that, is essentially like a savings account, then, that this money goes into this escrow account, and you guys set that up for them.
Correct.
And then this money doesn't get touched until we go to close, and that gets wired from that escrow account to the other account to basically close out. Is that correct?
You're absolutely right.
Works?
Yeah,
Okay.
there is a special account just for these Home Fund Me monies that come in, and then as soon as we shut it off, that's locked into place. And then when it comes to closing time, there's a procedure where that money is wired to the closing agent.
Okay. So let's say my goal was $5,000 and we raised $12,000. Do I have a choice then of how I want that money to be wired and what I do with the extra money? Like, how does that work?
Yes, you do. The whole goal of it is, however, try and use the entire amount that you raise, because as Ryan has maybe mentioned in the past, there's something called mortgage insurance.
Mm-hmm.
The goal is to try and generate as much money as possible to have the lowest payment possible, and hopefully even remove that mortgage insurance that is required if you don't have 20%
Yeah.
down right away.
Yep.
So the goal is to keep all the money in. Ideally, maybe you would raise enough where you don't even need me as your lender. But, you never know. I haven't had that happen yet, but it possibly could. But
Good point.
the idea is to use as much as you possibly can. But let's say that you already have generated the 20% and you have just a couple thousand or a couple $100 left or whatever that you may see fit to use towards something else. Then what has happened in the past with my past transaction is the title company will issue you a check at closing for the difference.
That's pretty awesome. So, as we're kind of digesting all this stuff, I'm probably as shocked as you guys are if this is the first time you're hearing about this, because when I was listening to Stacy talk about it in one of my masterminds, I'm like, this is a no-brainer. If I'm going to buy a new house, and my excuse is I don't have enough money to put down for a house and I don't know where I'd get that money from, you no longer have that excuse. So I think this is a great opportunity for you, especially if you're in that category of getting married, just graduating college, whatever the case is. This is a great thing to set up, I think, with family and friends to help you raise some money for that. And then the last thing that I was going to say is, so the first thing you need to do is contact us, and we'll get you in touch with Stacy. She'll walk you through that process, get you set up, get approved, and all that kind of stuff. And then the last thing I want to touch on is, we kind of mentioned it, but there's a time frame, right? So what's the shortest and the longest amount of time that I can start this campaign, end this campaign? What's that look like?
The crowdfunding time frame is 1 year. So like we have discussed a few times, let's get you pre-approved, in touch with Ryan, in touch with myself, get a plan in place, and maybe not necessarily start the fundraising efforts until we get you to the point of being pre-approved. And then from there, you have 1 year to generate that money. In my experience with the clients that I have closed, is the money is generated fairly quickly, depending on what you have going on. If you're using it for a wedding situation, for instance, you may not be getting married for another 6 months, so you may have 6 months of generating, and then maybe a couple of months after that. If you're looking for a home now, and you're already pre-qualified, let me start with that, then you want to start generating that money right away and possibly close within a month or two. Where this should not be used is to say, well, I might get the money, and so I'm going to get pre-qualified on the hope that I have $10,000 generated. That's not the way it should be used. So the second you're pre-approved, then Ryan and I will have a discussion with you and we'll put a better plan in place. But there should never be that assumption that you might have the money, so let's go shopping for a house.
Yeah, yeah. And maybe some of you are thinking too, this came to mind and I was kind of discussing this with you, is I think what makes this unique too is that it's exclusively with you. You know,
Correct.
like, so there's no other lender out there that is capable of using this, at least as of right now. Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae. Can you kind of elaborate too, for those that don't know, like, what's this Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae, like, what does that mean?
Yes, that's a great question. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are the government institutions that insure mortgages. And they are, I want to say, the rule setters on what people can do and can't do in the mortgage industry. And so Fannie and Freddie have given the blessing to CMG to have this trial period to see how this can work, because what they have found is the biggest obstacles for this up-and-coming generation is a lot of student loan debt,
Yep.
rising costs of rent, and so it's really, really difficult to get into a home as a first-time home buyer.
Yeah.
So with the help of the president of our company and Freddie and Fannie, the two governing institutions, they have allowed our company to have this trial period, an indefinite trial period, just to see how this is going to help people get into homes sooner than later.
Perfect. Yeah, and so I think that kind of raises or takes care of some of those questions where, like, wait, how is this available just for you? And how come other lenders can't use that right now? There's your answer. That's why. So they have the exclusive right now to basically do this, which is nice for you.
That is.
And
nice.
I'm sure other lenders are like, well, that sucks. We can't do that right now. But
oh, yeah.
Again, I think it's a great opportunity. You know, you've heard Levi and I talk about the interest rates and how those continue to go up. So if you are thinking about buying a home in the next year or so, this is something that I think I would definitely at least look into. Contact us. We'll let you know where you're at. We'll get you approved, and then we'll start that process for you. So if you have any questions whatsoever, you know, feel free to contact us. We're going to tag our info there at the bottom for you guys as well. And, yeah, again, if you guys have any questions whatsoever, Stacy would be more than happy to answer those for you. I would be more than happy to put you in touch with her. So with that being said, I don't know if there's anything else
Yeah, I
you'd
think
like
the
to
only
add,
other thing I would add is I'm sure Ryan will put a few links associated with this video
Yeah.
that can give you some more information. There is a homefundme.com as well as some pretty cool press videos that have been out there, because it has been all over the press what we're doing because it's so innovative right now.
Yeah.
So we'll include those links for you too. We'll close it out with this. Can you share a story of someone that you've worked with that's used this and how successful it was for them? Absolutely. I just had this kind of an interesting situation. I had a buyer that was going to be gifted money from his mother.
Okay.
And so he wrote his offer, and we're getting into the stage of getting the gift letter signed by his mother and getting the funds from the mother. Mother decided to buy a house the same weekend.
Oh.
So
That creates some problems.
create a little bit of an issue. But HomeFundMe saved the day. He was able to generate that money fairly quickly and keep the contract going, and it was a huge success. He ended up generating more money than he even anticipated he was going to use from his mother to begin with.
Sweet.
So that was a pretty cool story. And then I'm also going to put a link on this. It wasn't my particular client, but it was one of the first HomeFundMe cases where a daughter and a father were trying to buy a home right after, soon after the death of the wife and mother. And the community all came together to try and help them generate the finances for this home, because it was quite difficult, obviously, for them during that time. And so that's another huge kind of cool story.
I was gonna say that's
where the community came together to help them buy a home too. So I do have a link for that story as well. But people use it in all different ways. I have a bride and groom right now just setting up their wedding registry
Yep.
for it. And so that's pretty exciting. But we have had, there's been some doubt out there, especially among the lenders that know what the current way that gift giving works with mortgages that say that it cannot happen. And I can speak that I have successfully closed loans with this, and many people are within my company. So it's a pretty cool, innovative idea.
Yeah, and I think another idea just came to mind as you were sharing that is, if you're a business owner or you're with a business or whatever, there's another opportunity where, you know, if you wanted to give back to somebody that was within your business or within that community that you knew needed help to go purchase a home, who knows, maybe you could rally up your coworkers or something like that to donate money for this person, surprise them. The ideas and the things are endless, I think, with this. And so again, if you have questions, we'd love to answer them, and Stacy would love to answer them. I'm going to tag her stuff at the end of this video, but we appreciate you guys for watching. Again, if you have questions, you can comment below too. We'll get back to you as well, because I'll tag Stacy in that. But feel free to contact us anytime, and we'll go from there. Happy Monday. So enjoy your Monday.
Thank you.
Yeah.